to Nerdmageddon.
Hello and welcome back to Nerdmageddon here on KZLX LP Maryville. Good to be back. I'm your host, Corey Herzog. With me I have...
It's me, Simon Clark. I'm the token male of the group.
I totally forgot my name for a split second. I'm Kenzie, dumb blonde apparently.
And
I'm Molly, the not dumb blonde.
all right. So thank you all for joining us. We're going to hop into some nerd news. We have quite a bit. Starting off, Nintendo is releasing a Breath of the Wild prequel for the Switch.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is... I want to make sure I get the name right. Pulling that up real quick. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. And set 100 years before The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Interesting.
Yes. So they're working on this in conjunction with a sequel to the game as well.
See, here's my thing. I remember when Hyrule Warriors, like the first one came out, it was basically just, it was like just a big fight, like a fighting game. But it wasn't like one-on-one. It was just you go up against like mobs of enemies and just deal with it.
Yes. This is also a fighting game as well. You have the option to play as Link, Zelda. They are not the same person.
They are not.
And the 4 champions you had to track down in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes. So it's going to be coming out November 20th. And I'm going to assume that's 2020 because they didn't put a date after that.
So what I'm hearing is I'm going to have a pricey Christmas and birthday gift to have to get my boyfriend.
Probably.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't that how it always is, you know?
You know, people say that like girlfriends are the most expensive ones, but after all of the video games I have bought him, I don't think that's true.
Yes. So the series producer Eiji Aoyama also confirmed that development on the sequel is still ongoing, but we're going to have to wait a bit longer on any updates for that. So that's still in process, but it's looking like Hyrule Warriors is going to be taking precedent.
That is super exciting. I'm excited to play a game where I can actually play as Zelda, because I believe there is only one other game that you can play as her.
Are you talking about Smash Bros?
I was going to say,
no,
Smash Bros.
I think it's Legend of Hyrule. Which is
Legend of Hyrule. Okay.
And then I think like there's probably also like an old game where you can play as her, but I'm just excited that you are finally able to play as Zelda because I like to play as Zelda. Like she's a fun character, although I do enjoy Link.
Yes. So that's something to look forward to as we near the holidays, which are coming up pretty quickly. Terrifying.
I don't like hearing that. That's weird.
I know. It feels like things should just kind of be at a standstill. Like it should still be March.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. But eventually things do come around, and 2 years after its initial announcement, we finally got the New Mutants, and people are not liking it at all. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a terrible score both for critics and audience score. It scored a 33% from the critics and a 54% from the audience.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeez. Yes.
So here's my thing. It seems that almost every single X-Men movie that's that's been put out has done horribly.
It has.
Like, consistently. It's usually they do below 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, like, without fail. So, I'm wondering if it's just not a good idea for them to try and, make X-Men a film thing.
Here's the thing. A lot of the reviews that I'm seeing is they didn't stick with a tone. That was, like, the biggest one that I saw. Because when it was premiered in trailers and in movie theaters, it was shown to be a horror suspense film. And audiences are just saying that it didn't really deliver on that. and it's a soft opening for a series rather than just this could be potentially only one movie, no sequel. We're not going to leave anything unanswered. But unfortunately, because they are expecting this to be a series, they left a lot of open-ended questions and didn't really explain a whole lot. And when they did, it was lackluster.
Yeah. It's sad because all those characters that they threw in there are really interesting characters in the comics. Like,
Yes.
every single one of them has like this really cool power. Although I do think that the blonde girl, I forget her name.
Anya Taylor,
Anya Taylor, yeah.
I think.
Her character, I feel like, was a little too much for a opening movie, because her character is like almost an Omega level mutant.
Okay.
So like Iceman or what's his name? I'm trying to remember his name.
Cyclops?
Elixir.
Oh,
Elixir's like this dude who can take away people's powers, and it's messed up.
Yes. And what else is disappointing, they have practically an all-star cast.
Yeah.
And so and the director did really well with a previous film. That's why he was given the series. And then to not see it perform very well, have it be delayed so often, to the point another reviewer said, is it too much to ask why so soon? Like, why did they release it so soon?
Yeah.
Just to see it flop after they've had so many chances to make it good.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, and I'm looking at the cast list right now, and like a lot of these people are extremely talented and really good at what they do. So it kind of baffles me a little bit that they didn't make this how they should have. Like mostly the producer and the director, because it's not on the actor at all. It is on what the higher ups envisioned it. And it just stinks that they now are a part of this because of that vision.
Yes. And Mutants isn't the only recently released film to be getting a lot of backlash. Mulan is back in the headlines again for backlash. This time for thanking, I'm probably going to butcher the name of this place, Zhejiang?
Shaishang.
Shishang? Okay.
Shaishang.
Authorities in the credits. And this place is not exactly ethical, allegedly.
Nope.
Allegedly.
Not at all.
Yes, and just a quick reminder, all views and opinions expressed on the show are only that of the hosts. We do not represent KZLX, KNWT, our media department, or our university. But yeah, so there are alleged concentration camps involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like that the Mulan movie has been so bad. Like it just hasn't had any luck with anything. Because like when it was first announced, everybody's like, "Oh yay, we get to see like Mushu and all these cool characters." Like Mushu's not in it, and they're like, "Okay, cool, maybe we'll get to see the big bad guy." And they're like, "He's not in it either. It's some witch."
Li Shang, we get to see Li Shang.
Yep.
He's
No.
not in it. Is the grandma? Is the grandma in it? I haven't watched it.
I don't think so. Oh no, maybe she is. I don't know. It's the same story.
I don't think so, no, because it's the father, mother, and Mulan and her sister.
Disney, shame on you, shame on your family, shame on your cow.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, they took all of like the musical numbers out of it.
Yep.
And they tried to make it this like. I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to go back to like the traditional story of Mulan.
They wanted it to be traditional and cultural, appropriate?
Culturally appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
culturally appropriate. I was trying to figure out if that was the right wording I wanted to use. But they wanted to do that, but in the original story, there is no witch.
Nope.
Like, I want to give it the benefit of a doubt because I love Mulan. It was my favorite thing growing up. But maybe they should have just kind of stuck with it being like a live action with Mushu and the Lucky Cricket and the music
Yeah, and maybe then it wouldn't be essentially banned in the rest of China because Beijing has been all about the crackdown of this place that I cannot pronounce, Shaisheng. They've been wanting to crack down on all the things that have been going on there. And so they pretty much banned like all advertising of Mulan, of the live action.
Yeah.
And I think that is wrong for, like, if they wanted to do this, like, have it be cultural appropriate, then it should be well enough that they could show it in China and be like, look at this Disney movie with a heroine that looks like everybody. Like, looks like for someone to, like, other little girls to look up to, pretty much. But they're not giving it that.
Yeah, it seems like Mulan's just having a hard time in general.
Yeah.
But,
Hello,
you know,
and welcome to a new segment I'd like to call Producer's Commentary. I'm your producer for Nurmagin, Ben Wester. See, there's a fun, slightly embarrassing photo so you can put a face to this disembodied voice you hear. This week, I'm going to talk about Mulan. Not the old animated one, but this new flashy live-action one. Mulan is the most recent in a slew of Disney live-action remakes of their classic animated films. What started with The Jungle Book has evolved into Lion King, Aladdin, and now Mulan. Here's some background about it. Mulan was supposed to be released into theaters, but due to COVID-19 basically shutting everything in the world down, it was taken off the release schedule, just like every movie. Eventually, it did come to us in the form of a $30 purchase through Disney Plus, Disney's streaming service. So, you know, in addition to that money you're already spending, go ahead and spend some more for Mulan. It stars Liu Yifei, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, in the title role of Mulan, and was directed by Nikki Caro. It follows the classic story of a young Chinese woman joining the military in order to prevent her father from having to do so. And that is about the end of the similarities that it has with the original 1998 animated film. In an attempt to more closely follow the ancient Chinese tale of Mulan, the production made the choice to remove some elements, most notably Mushu, the animated talking dragon sidekick, and the songs. Sort of. This new Mulan has the same music as the old Mulan, but none of it was sung like it was in the classic film. It was all just instrumental versions of those classics during the scenes in which they would have appeared in the original. But now, what you really wanted to know about. My opinions of this movie. Hold on to your butts, I'm sure this will ruffle a few feathers. Mulan 2020, drum roll please, was fine. That's about it. Fine. It wasn't horrifyingly terrible, but it wasn't too amazing either. It really was the definition of fine. Alright. Okay. It didn't blow me away like I was hoping it would, but I didn't walk away wishing I hadn't watched it. But with that said, I actually did enjoy some things about this movie. First off, the locations and the sets. I really can't say much except that they were beautiful. It really helped me get into the story and feel as though we really were in China, where the movie takes place. Another highlight for me was the action, when it wasn't weird CG of them running on walls and jumping really at odd angles. The action was shot really interestingly, and it really felt grounded as it was hand-to-hand, and I believe most of the actors did their own stunts, such as the main actress, whose name I will not attempt to butcher again, when they were just doing straight-up hand-to-hand. But when they got into, witches and phoenixes and chi power and all the CG came in, it really, for me, felt as though it took away from the great action that they had. But it was really interesting to watch as a lot of actors kind of like sloshed their way through a not so great script. And I really didn't feel for any characters. I mean, I really didn't care about any of them. Some of Mulan's like cohorts and like other soldiers that she was friends with, they were fun, and there were a couple jokes in there that made me like chuckle a little bit, but I really wasn't invested all too heavily in any of the characters. Mulan's love interest was just the most white bread, normal guy on the face of the earth, and I have no idea how they even had any chemistry. And it was really sad to watch after the amazing chemistry that they have in the original 1998 Mulan, just to see him degraded to just some soldier guy who is kind of there hanging out, and they fall in love for some reason. The bad guy was kind of just there. He didn't really do anything amazing, and all the actors kind of just seemed like they were there, reading lines off a script, which is a shame. But with that said, there was one standout actor. One saving grace actor who, in all honesty, I could have watched an entire movie of. Of course, I'm talking about Donnie Yen, who plays Commander Tung in the film. I didn't even like his character because I found him all that interesting. It was just enough that it was Donnie Yen. And that's just because Donnie Yen's awesome in basically everything he does. You seen Rogue One? Amazing. You seen Ip Man's? Amazing. That's really all I have to say about him. He's just super awesome in everything he does, and he was practically the only reason I really kept watching. But that's really all I have to say about Mulan. If I were to review it, I'd probably have to give it a watch if you're bored and somebody already paid for it out of 5, which is exactly what I did. I'd have to say, save your $30 on this one and go spend it on something else, something you may actually get more enjoyment out of and you won't walk away from feeling towards. But, that's just the way movies go sometimes. Alright, this has been Producer's Commentary with your Nerdmageddon producer, Ben. Alright, now back to your regularly scheduled Nerdmageddon. Thanks for watching.
But you know what? Reboots are a thing, and it's hit The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Ooh.
So, doing some research on this, Will Smith is going to be starring in it, and he's going to be working on it. But they're taking a more dramatic approach to it. They're setting it in current times with very similar characters like Carlton, Will, obviously, Uncle Ben. And they're just wanting
Carlton.
We love Carlton here. But it's going to be called Bel-Air, and it's going to be on the, it's called Peacock. And
That's
Isn't it
the
streaming?
yeah, it's a
the
streaming.
NBC.
Yeah, NBC. I want to make sure I got the right
It's-
company.
Actually, one of the few streaming services that's free, but I don't know if you'll have to do the paid. Because, there's the free version and then there's, a paid version where you get everything.
Oh.
So it'll depend on if they decide to put it on the free or if they make you pay for it.
I mean, if they put it on the free, they'll definitely get more viewers, especially the ones who grew up with it.
Yeah. And see, they put the Psych 2 movie on for the free one because I watched that with my brother. So I could see them doing that, but I could also see them being like, we want subscribers and money to make this a viable thing.
Here's the thing. I see them making the first couple episodes because these are going to be 1 hour long episodes. I can see them making the first few available to the general public, but then having to pay going forward. My concern is they're taking a comedy and then turning it into a drama. I am concerned of how that's going to translate. I have high hopes because, again, it's original cast. I believe it's the original either director or producer. I forget which one. Morgan Cooper, writer-director. Okay, so Morgan Cooper is also working on this. So hopefully it will translate well. That's my main concern, is going from a comedy to a drama. Because you can kind of go from a drama to a comedy, but comedy to a drama I feel is going to be a little bit more of a shock to the system.
It will definitely be a shock because I, for one, have never seen Fresh Prince, but I've seen a lot of different screen caps from different episodes. And usually they did tackle very hard, ideas and issues, but there was, comedy to it to help offset and make it easier to digest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing Will Smith, since he's working so closely on this, there were movies and stuff that he's been in that are dramas, amazing movies like 7 Pounds, Pursuit of Happiness, stuff like that. And I mean, I feel like that he'll have the right momentum coming in. I think it just really relies on how well everybody else in the cast talks to each other.
Yes. He's a very well-rounded actor. I have great respect for him.
Yeah, totally.
So hopefully
absolutely.
it'll translate correctly. That's my hope. And then to end things on a sweet note, Jelly Belly, the main guy of Jelly Belly, is pulling a Willy Wonka. So, to enter, this is a contest. You can enter the contest, and he gives you a clue of where a golden ticket is in your state. There's one per state, so there's 50. And then you are entered into a drawing to win a cash prize, and you get one of his factories.
Wait, a whole factory?
You get a whole factory.
Okay, I was imagining like the tour, and I was like, I know it's not gonna be like the movie, but
No.
No, you get
Someone will win a candy factory. Like, it is.
is there an age limit?
No, I don't think there's an age limit that I've seen so far. But yeah,
So some 5-year-old kid could get a factory.
it all depends on if they can find the golden ticket in their state. Again, there's only one per state. We don't know where they are. And they'd have to be lucky enough to win that drawing.
Oh, so it's like a drawing out of 50 other.
Yeah.
Wait, no, there's 51 states.
There's 50,
There's 50 states.
50? I'm like, why am I thinking 51?
DC?
Puerto Rico or DC are
Puerto
neither
Rico,
states.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously Kenzie cannot do geography.
You know, it's been a long day. I have been up since 5:30 this morning.
Yeah.
I gotta do that tomorrow.
Oof.
I gotta
Gross.
open up the radio station. That's gonna be fun.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But so what I'm hearing is Nerdmageddon, we're all gonna like chip in and try and win a candy factory.
No.
I
What
don't
am
like
gonna-
jelly
What am I
beans.
gonna do with that? What am I supposed to do with the
Pay
candy
off your
factory?
student loans.
Make
Okay.
a profit.
Here's the thing. I am not one for business.
Mm.
So I wouldn't know how to do that unless it is literally just you get the money made from this factory. Then I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. You just have a factory. Congrats.
I mean, and is it actually like you get the factory? Is it just here's a certificate that says you own this factory, but really you don't? Please don't. Please.
There's not a whole lot of information on it. Kind of like Willy Wonka, where they're just like, yeah, here's a golden ticket, kid.
I've got a
Um,
golden ticket.
But my question is, will there be a chance of Oompa Loompas running around the states now trying to...
Yes.
I mean,
Sure.
if you mean
Who
by
knows?
like Oompa Loompas, you mean tiny children that really like candy, then yeah, probably. But I don't like jelly beans, so you will not see me going.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm okay with some jelly beans. There's specific flavors that I'm a fan of. But if I have to go anywhere near a jelly bean factory, I would rather die.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree to that. I don't
All
like.
right. Well, that's all we have for nerd news. Apparently, I'm the only one who wants to get a candy factory.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, you nerd it here first.